Hi, this is Linda with Watery Wishes, and today I have another card using the Beautiful Flowers stamp set by Simon Says Stamp. I'm making a happy birthday card, and I did a little bit of stamp surgery on one of the stamps. I'll be using Distress Oxides in Hickory Smoke and Seedless Preserves, and I will be embellishing the card with a little bit of Nouveau drops. I forget what exactly they're called. I think it's White Blizzard, but the link will be in the description and on my blog. So I've stamped the large floral stamp in Hickory Smoke, and I am heat embossing it with some Hero Arts clear embossing powder. And I'm just going to heat set that with my new heat tool, which I am absolutely loving. It's so quick. And my last one, you used it once and you had to blow in it to get it to cool down so it could turn back on, because if you'd used it once and heated it up, it didn't want to turn back on for another 10 minutes. So this one saves so much time. Okay, so this part of the card here was inspired by another card maker called Courtney Krieber. I believe I'll have her linked up in the, if you hit the eye in the right corner, you'll be taken to her video which inspired this. She used a different oxide ink and she did everything in like a vintage tone, which I'm not doing. I'm just doing the background in Hickory Smoke, and I'm sort of trying to get a gradient from where the floral stamp is down to sort of a lighter area in the white space. And instead of just using Copics to colour the flowers, I'm going to be using some Seedless Preserves and the Hickory Smoke, and I will go in on the flowers with a touch of Copics just to brighten the effect that I got with the watercolour. So, like many crafters, I have trouble just letting the watercolour be, and I'm getting a little bit better at it, but I'm still not quite there yet. And I think this probably would have been a little bit better if I did let the watercolour just do its thing. Now, the Seedless Preserves, I don't know if it's because it's on top of the Hickory Smoke or if it's just what it does normally, but it gives this effect of like a purple to pink, purple in the dark areas, pink in the lighter areas, and I really liked it. It's not something that I would have gone out of my way to achieve, but when I saw that it was actually happening with the watercolors, I was really pleased with the effect. And I'm really going to have to test out this color, Distress Oxide ink, by itself to see if it does it without the Hickory Smoke. So I'm not sure if it's what it usually does, or if it's matter of it mixing with the other oxide. Either way, it was really good. And even though I've sped this up quite a bit, the watercolouring takes a fair amount of time. And I'm just trying to do bits at a time. I don't want, even though I've heat embossed it, I'm trying not to do anything next to each other, because I've really got to learn not to do that, because every other time I do it without the heat embossing, I screw it up really bad, because I'm impatient. Now I've got the stamp set next to me because this image is so detailed. It's sometimes hard to tell once you start colouring it in exactly where everything is. So it's always handy to have the stamp right next to you, especially if you've got it sitting on a bit of white cardstock, because that black printed version of the stamp is a lot clearer than an image like this on paper when you're trying to colour it in. And it's really handy to have as a guide. So I use the seedless preserves for the flowers, and I use a bit more of the hickory smoke for the leaves. And again, just like in my last video, I'm going to apologize for the graininess of the footage. I forgot to reset my camera settings when I got it back from being repaired, and I've since rectified that, but this and one more of my videos is going to be a little bit grainy. So as you can see, I'm colouring in the petals that I missed because this image is somewhat hard to see. I really love this stamp set, and I actually can't wait until the next Simon kit, because it's got a scribbly floral in it, and I quite like the arty scribbly florals that Simon brings out. I like the spring flowers and the winter flowers, and I especially like the ranunculus set, the sketch ranunculus. That set is just, I'm of the opinion it's incapable of making a bad card. It's just one of those sets that you can do virtually anything with it, and it's just awesome. So now I'm taking the leftover of that ink and creating basically some coloured cardstock to mat that piece on. And now I'm using a little bit of the leftover oxide to create some splatters, and I use some of the hickory smoke as well. And because the panel is a bit warped, I'm using some score tape simply because it's really strong and it's really good for warped panels. And this is going to be a top folding landscape A2 size card. I'm always very cautious when using score tape and putting panels down. That's why I only bring tabs up, so I can actually move it if I have to. And I probably should have stamped my sentiment down before I adhered everything, but I didn't. Now here's me coming in with some Copic markers to accentuate that purple to pink that the Oxide already created. And I could have just coloured these with the Copics, but I don't believe I would have got as nice an effect if I just used the Copics. And I wanted that sort of watercolour look. And the Copics sort of work really well to go over the Oxide, and it sort of acts like an underpainting. So I'm using a violet, a red violet, and two red violets. I'm using V25, RV52, and RV000. And it really just intensified the colour that was already there. Because Copics are somewhat transparent, it does take on some of the characteristics of whatever's underneath it. So as you can see, I've cut away the birthday from that small happy birthday sentiment, and I'm using one of the large happy stamps and the birthday from the happy birthday to create a stamp that says happy birthday. And then I'm going to use the Nouveau drops to embellish this card. I was just checking to make sure there was no air. And I actually sort of go overboard, and I put some down in the bottom right hand corner, and I end up taking them off. And tapping the card down like that after you've put the drops on is something I learnt from Amy Rasavi from Prairie Paper and Ink, and it flattens them out a little bit. And if you have something raised to tap them on, it sort of works really well. So here's the card. I did spray a little bit of water on it to get that happy birthday sentiment to run a little bit, to give it that watercolory look. Thanks for watching. If you liked the video, hit that like button, or if you didn't, hit the dislike button. I'd love it if you subscribed. I'll see you guys in the next one, and don't forget, have fun crafting your imagination. Bye.